What's up, guys? Welcome back to another edition of Uncle Stevie's Nephew's podcast. Again, another post-game podcast. I don't know how long I'm going to do this. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe just the opening week. Maybe longer than that. Maybe whenever I can. But today, the Mets got the win. I'm very excited they got the win. They're not going to be 0-162. That's always it's always in the back of your mind. They could still go 0-162. Obviously, it's not going to happen, but I'm happy they got the win. The offense did some great things today. Dom Smith showing Luis Rojas. He made absolutely mind-boggling managerial decision yesterday. Unless it wasn't from Luis Rojas and the front office wanted him to start Kevin Pillar, which I don't understand why they would want. But Dom Smith had that home run, which was really nice to see. I was at first when I saw it, I was like mad that he swung at that pitch because it was out of the zone, but he just didn't turn on it, but squared it up somewhat and was able to hit it for a home run, giving the Mets a 2-0 lead. Then we got some other. Pete Alonso had a double, 2-run home run. Another nice home run. I mean, Pete Alonso, Dom Smith in one game. Who would have thought a few years back that Pete Alonso and Dom Smith would be playing in the same game, both hit home runs in the same game, both in the starting lineup. I mean, it's just crazy to see the progression that the Mets have taken over these years with both of those players. And then you have some little instances where they were able to squeak out runs with some singles, with some sacrifice flies, with some Kevin Pillar, the walks. I mean, Velasquez he pitched extremely well in his first inning, and then, or I don't even know, he pitched really well in the beginning, and then his last inning of pitching, he pitched terrible, 4 straight walks, I'm pretty sure, something like that. It was bad for him. I forgot that I didn't realize that Velasquez fell so far from grace with the Phillies that he was one of considered their best pitchers because he just played really well and went all the way to relief pitcher and now is just not pitching well. The Mets offense was very good today. Michael Conforto did some things. Francisco Lindor, that sacrifice fly. Really nice to see. Jeff McNeil still just can't find a way to find a opening on the field to just dunk one in. I mean, he's hit the ball hard and he just can't get any luck. But as he said in last night's or press conference or whatever, Zoom call, however you want to call it, he's not upset, which is good to see because we've seen Jeff McNeil be upset before. He's not upset because his exit velocity and things like that are all looking good. It's just he isn't getting the luck that he needs so far. But I wanted to start with the positives, but there are a lot of negatives that I have to take from this game. Also, forgot. Let me go back. Another positive, Marcus Stroman pitched really well today. I really liked what I saw. He's a different type of pitcher. He's not the person that's going to strike out everyone. He's the pitcher that's going to get players to hit the ball on the ground. And I mean, he definitely did that today. Some key plays where he was able to get Bryce Harper to ground out and other players to ground out. And he did it throughout the game. And it would be really nice to see if he takes another step forward and becomes an even better pitcher this year because that would be a huge plus for the Mets. Now the negatives. The bullpen is going to be a problem, at least if they continue to play how they played today and yesterday, which is terrible. Miguel Castro, who was a bright spot yesterday, did not pitch well. Then we have Trevor May, who came in today, and I don't understand what Luis Rojas is doing here. I get it. They're up by a lot of runs. Give Trevor May the opportunity to pitch well. But he just didn't pitch well, and now the Mets are screwed because who's going to be the relief pitcher? Dylan Betances is going to come in? I'm not looking forward to seeing Dylan Betances pitch because I know he's not going to pitch well for them. It's not good right now for the Mets bullpen. Jeurys Familia looked terrible. I didn't have a lot of faith in Jeurys Familia. Unless Trevor May can figure it out, and I still have faith in him, and I think he can still have a strong season, but so far he has just not looked good. He's looked wild, which is not Trevor May, and I'm nervous. Shane Green is still out there, and the Mets should really look into him. One of the things with that is then you're showing that you lost confidence in the pitchers that you signed first off, which is not good to the fan base, and then is not good to the relief pitchers. But I think Steve Cohen wants to have a good team out there, and Shane Green just would add so much to the Mets bullpen, something that the Mets desperately need. And if it continues to be a problem, and yes, it's only 2 games, and that's something you have to keep in mind. That's something I have to keep in mind even when I'm saying this. If it doesn't continue to be a problem, great. Then it was just the first 2 games, and they figured it out. If it's a problem, they need to address it because they can't let this season be what it was last season, even though it was 60 games compared to 162. Last season, they let so many games slip away because of bullpen issues, and we don't want that to happen again this year because they have such a talented team besides the bullpen right now. I forgot to mention Aaron Loup did not look good yesterday, hitting Bryce Harper. Also, another I don't even understand decision by Luis Rojas. Luckily, it worked out for him, even though it was close to not working out. Is keeping Miguel Castro in to face Bryce Harper when you had Aaron Loup up behind. I mean, maybe he was trying to conserve Aaron Loup for tomorrow's game and had some faith in Miguel Castro, but that's a big risk that you were taking with Bryce Harper. I mean, he hits a home run there. It's a 1-run game at the time. I didn't like that move. I think Luis Rojas has made some pretty interesting to pretty dumb decisions so far, which I'm not happy about. And, I mean, it's only 2 games, and I'm not looking forward to what his future decisions are going to be, especially if the Mets make it to some pretty important games and he's the manager and makes some interesting calls. I still have faith in him, right? I can't just say, no, like, Luis Rojas is a terrible manager. I still have faith in him because it's still only 2 games. But so far, the bullpen has been a problem. Luis Rojas has been a problem. It's not good when your manager's a problem. In terms of like the Mets division, which is something we can talk about, the Braves are now 0-4. They lost to the Nationals. Max Scherzer did not pitch well, 4 home runs, which is good for the Mets. Max Scherzer not being a problem, and he didn't play well in spring training either. So if he cannot be a problem, that would be great. But the Braves, I mean, they're 0-4. I know it's again early in the season, and I think last year or 2 years ago they started off bad and then obviously turned it around. I think it was the Braves. Again, it's early in the season, but 0-4, you don't want it to continue to spiral because, like we saw, when was that? 2015, when the Mets started 11-1. I mean, yeah, it was the beginning of the season, but getting out to such a great division lead was a really good spark plug for the Mets and allowed them to eventually win the NL East. I wouldn't say that's the main reason, obviously, but it was an important part. Like, it's early in the season, yes, but you don't want it to go crazy. Like, the farther and farther they go without getting a win is the worse and worse it is for them and their hopes of winning the division. So the Mets got to win before the Braves, which is great. And I'm excited they got the win, and I want to end it here. I'm excited they got the win, but I'm nervous because there's some glaring issues that are starting to butt their heads. Luis Rojas, bullpen. That's about it. Hoping for another win tomorrow, and you'll hear from me then.